or rather the Beale Beans alley. All right, I pulled 3 cards after shuffling them inside, and I want to show them to you. I didn't want to forget about today, because sometimes when I come here, I forget to do the energy snapshot. So immediately when I wake up, I think about the energy and how I'm going to discern it and speak it out. And this morning really felt initially like a solar plexus day. And it felt like kind of one of these days where it's like maybe whatever's going on today is really making you kind of revisit an old version of yourself. And it's making you stop, pause, and say, what am I missing? What is this moment meant to teach me? And then you're like, oh, voila, it's how far I've come. And so for me, this morning, literally everything was going wrong. My voice is still coming back. I was making eggs like I do every morning for my son, and that didn't go right. And I was making congee for myself, and that didn't go right. And then I ended up actually dropping my son off at school 2 minutes late, and he's never had to sign in late before, at least not at this school this year. And then I realized the way that my energy was running today was much like it had run at least a year and a half or maybe even 2 years ago, where I was just in such a hurry that I wasn't staying present. But the one thing that I wasn't doing is with everything that was going wrong, I was voicing my frustration like, everything is going wrong. But I wasn't letting it get me down. I wasn't letting it upset me. And in fact, I felt like I almost was like laughing about it because, well, what else are you going to do? And some days, no matter how hard you try, you're just going to run a little bit behind. And we still got everywhere we needed to be safely. So the first card that I pulled, look at this. I hope you can see it. It says home. And the number on the card is 44. Home. And to me, more and more lately, what home is for me is home is where I am. Because I constantly return to myself over and over and over again. And a lot of people would call this ascension. I call this returning to the self. Shedding the excess layers of conditioning, of limiting beliefs, of subconscious programming, or even some types of like default type programming. I don't know how else to say it, but like fear in general can kind of be considered a default program, because sometimes when some new stimulus arrives, our first instinct is to be afraid of it because we don't know how to categorize it. So here's home, and 44, which would be 8. And I mean, this could mean a lot of other things too. This could mean you're finding your way back to your center. I really feel like that's actually what it means today. Good morning, hi. I really feel, so this is the first card of the day. And the whole vibe of the day is pretty much like we are revisiting old stuff. And it's really just showing us how far we've grown. And our first card of the day is home, the number 44 or the number 8. Our next card is all about the solar plexus, the sacral chakra, and it's the color amber. Work with the color amber. It's also the number 15, which reduces to 6. And it says, awaken your creativity. So like I was speaking of before, perhaps we're all kind of revisiting a snapshot in our past, and we're realizing that we're dealing with struggles and stuff like this in a different way than we used to. And then we also have 14, Lyra, past, seeds of polarity. And I encourage everyone, we're all going to come up against polarity. We're all going to have things that we don't see eye to eye on with other people. But what's important is to remain in the field of coherence. And that's where you're in your center, and you can allow 2 things that are paradoxical in nature to exist at the same time. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me.